To be a woman gone wild means to live beyond the conditioning and the constructs of the world we once knew, and be the woman who has broken free of the chains that once contained her. At a rapid pace, the world is shifting. This change has called you into realms of divinely guided leadership and into a movement of wild women who have linked arms to fearlessly live, fearlessly lead, and fearlessly love. Where the voice that guides us expands from within, where head-led living is being replaced with a devotion to heart-led leadership and pure alignment. Every single woman is a leader. You, Queen, are a leader, which is why you arrived here. Whether you are leading yourself, your family, or your community, whether you are single, married, a mother, an entrepreneur, a healer, or a woman with a dream, you belong here. Feminine leaders have been called to rise and stand front and center to share their voices and evoke waves of change across our planet. When a wild woman speaks, people listen. They hear her, they are moved by her, and they tell others of her. As the world revolutionizes, the foundation of this new construct lies in the strength of community. Connection and courage have already begun to form as the cornerstones of which the pinnacle to our greatest awakening will be built. You have been called to be unafraid, to feel deeply, to lean into the nudge that continues to whisper within. Link arms with us. Rise fearlessly.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Wild Wednesday Mastermind. I just love that video. Every time I watch it, it allows me to really drop in and tune in to the power that we have within, especially with us women that are out there. We're leading, we're leading the charge, and we are creating a new environment, not only for our families, for our communities, and for the work that we want to share and shine to the world. So that's what this mastermind has been about. We've been actually hosting these now for the last 3 months, at least. And every single week we bring out an amazing woman that is changing the world with her gifts, that is so focused on the impact that she's leaving and the work that she does. And we want to always give everyone that grace, right? Give that grace and that space for all of us to shine. But more importantly, whenever we get to watch, and every time I do these masterminds or I'm on with someone, I learn so much more about what my ability is or what is possible, not only in the world, but through others. And we know that when we align together and we come together and learn from each other, we shift. And when women especially come together, the world shifts. And that's what this Wild Wednesday is all about. And so today I'm so excited because we are nearly at the end of November. December 1st is literally ticking its time, and we're growing into the 2024 year. And so every time at this year, it's kind of time like, what am I going to do? How am I closing the year? How am I starting the year? And many are in this relaunching process, whether it's you're relaunching your new business, you might be relaunching your life, or you might be going, hey, I want to do something completely new, but I'm just trying to find that path in that way. Well, today's guest and our co-host of today's mastermind is a woman that's going to show you exactly how to do that, because she's not only a best-selling author, but she's also the founder of the company called Relaunch Co. Her name is Hilary DeCesare, and she is going to be talking with us about how to relaunch, how to put ourselves in a space that is psychologically inspired by our plans and with our gifts. And so without any further ado, let me bring out this amazing woman, because she's also a co-host now of the Wake Up with Marcy show that airs out of New York City. Hilary DeCesare, welcome, baby. How are you, Mom?
Rhonda, I just want to jump through this screen right now and give you this big hug, because I have to say, in your video, which I love, and it is such an inspiration, and it just sent chills through me. You're talking about every woman is a leader, and it is now a global movement. I love it. Where are you located right now?
I'm in Bali right now.
So Bali. All right. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. There are people all over the world. And what we now have is this time period of being able to, as you said, come together in this role, in this next wave, not a new normal, but this new different way to approach business.
Yeah.
And who we are and what we want to bring into the business. And, I'm the first one to say right now, I am in a massive relaunch of relaunch.
Yeah.
Because so much has come out of this last year. And
Mhm.
I want to make sure that all of the valuable information that I have had shared with me through all of the wonderful clients and our own relaunch journey, that we put that out so that people can actually speed through the relaunches. Like, you don't want to get on that launch pad and kind of like, kind of sparks start to happen, but there's no ignition. Like, we got
Yeah,
to
right?
join together and make sure that we are all really, truly holding each other up and kind of pushing everyone into the sky so we can reach our North Stars.
Yeah, I love it. And that's really what I love about this platform, where we can just have literally a talk about, how do we get to the next level? We can only do so much ourselves. And in fact, I wanted to ask you this. Have you read the book, Who Not How, by Dan Sullivan?
Okay. Yeah, I have only read part of it, and I'll tell you, I had it on my shelf it's an oldie.
It's an oldie, but it is such an amazing book. And it brought me today, like, wow, Hilary's coming today. I started like listening to that book again, because often we get so stuck in the, how do I do it? How do I do it? And then it's like, it's actually not always how, it's who do we do it with? Right?
Yeah.
In order for us to get
here for a long time. And then, how you clear off your shelves. I'm like, how you have your book list of like, you got to go to it. You got to go back. And this is my over here underneath the brain. I'm a big neuroscience junkie for the last 10 years. Those are the books that are like, okay, as soon as I touch those, I the most important ones that I have to do for the show or for a podcast, then I'm like, I get to like, I'm an avid reader. So when I hear something, I'm like, okay, that's right. I got to get back to that. So
that's a good one.
Very good.
There we go. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the relaunch and what is it that you are doing and working with clients now? Because I know like it's the perfect timing, right? Relaunching, people are like, it's like time to start, because you're right. This year, I think, was an interesting one, right? We've had several very interesting years, yet this year it seemed to me as the time where a lot of things were unfolding for many, or they were going, I don't want to do that anymore, or what can I now do more and better to serve? And what happens often is, and why I brought up the who, not the how, is we do have to understand what is the how for me to get it done, so that you can actually find the who that can really help you support it. So let's talk about the relaunch and what you're seeing now, and how can people get ready for this? How can they do it without waiting?
People are literally waking up to being alive again. And when you do that, after being dormant, after feeling stuck, after feeling overwhelmed, underwhelmed, all of a sudden you do have what maybe you didn't even realize happened to you for a year, 2 years while we've been in isolation, is that you have started to expand. And this is what is so incredible to talk to people about right now, that they're like, yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening, but I'm starting to think maybe my business isn't quite tailored the way I want it. Or I really like this line of business, but the rest doesn't light me up anymore. And that situation came with me. I come out of the Silicon Valley. I was at a high-tech company for almost 10 years, and then started and launched a bunch of other tech companies. And what I've always done is I've always coached. So for 23 years, so you can imagine the progress that I have seen of a woman's evolution. And what really is now shaping us and where we're going is this whole concept around, all right, you had an opportunity to slow down. When you slow down, it allows you to really start to process things in a different way. You may not even realize you were thinking about your business and thinking about, am I really in alignment with it? Am I feeling like it's what I want to do? So many people before, we went into isolation, it ended up that people are feeling almost like, I feel irrelevant. I feel like, I've got aging parents. I've got kids that are, I'm becoming an empty nester. I'm trying to figure out like, what is, as you said, legacy? What is the next thing for me? And here's the change. This is so dramatic, is that when we, as I call us the mid-zone women, right? And I love Brene Brown says mid-zone, middle age, as she says, is 35 until you're dead. So if you think about being in that middle of wherever you're going, it gives you a lot of possibility of where you can go. But a majority of us grew up with a very different philosophy, with very different belief systems coming at us. And so growing up in the Silicon Valley, it was very head-based, very logical. Give me the steps, the procedures. This is how you do it. This is how you'll be successful. Focus on revenue in Q1, 2, and what are you coming at, and what's your budget, and all of this. What's your P&L? Are you going to hit it? And all of this. And I did it. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second. I'm having great success, but I'm not happy. I went on the show Secret Millionaire, and it was during a time where I didn't have any technology. They took everything away. Literally, I couldn't have any contact with my family, that I sat in what was a former crack house. And I had this moment of, what am I doing? Why am I still doing something that I'm not really crazy about? How do I change it? I felt like there was a noose around my neck and like an albatross that was just like starting to strangle me. And I remember when the show was done and I had these awesome people that I helped out and was able to give money, and I was going through a divorce. I had melanoma. It was like, holy moly, just stop. I realized that I had really stepped into the relaunch world. Relaunch is transitions, but we all have the choice to take a transition into a transformation, or to have us keep us stuck in the place we are. So what happened was, all of a sudden, I'm running my next business as if I'm still in the high-tech world, very logically based. And for some reason, it's not resonating with myself, and it's not resonating with the people I work with. And so I started to really think about, what have I done to get to where I am? Well, you said books. Oh my gosh. I love reading books that are written over 100 years ago. You can talk about Florence Scovel Shinn and the wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn. You can talk about Think and Grow Rich. That one is definitely not in the pile. I've read it about 10 to 15 times. But there's this Elise Lincoln Benedict. I mean, all of these people that have ancient wisdom. How do we combine ancient wisdom with universal laws? We've been talking about law of attraction. Secret movie came out, and I befriended I did the whole, let me see if I can actually manifest one of the guys in the book, John Assaraf. And I had this whole strategic plan around, I want to meet him. I want to have him bring me on as one of his actual coaches for his elite coaches. And I want it to happen in the next 6 weeks, where I get to meet him. Well, guess what happened? Exactly 6 weeks later, I met him, and yes, the entire thing unfolded. So I started to realize, wait a second, there is such magic here that people don't believe, that people don't lean into. And I thought, this is where, and this is where I say relaunch is relaunching. I have put so much universal laws. I have put, and I often say, who knew woo could be so good for you? It's not even woo. This is brain-based. This is scientific. This is neuroscience, baby. This is like, let's leverage our brain. Let's leverage what's in here, what's in your gut. Let's take advantage of what's innately ours and tap into it for success. And that's exactly what relaunch is all about. Pretty exciting.
I love your energy, especially if you're watching this live. Let's give some love. Just know this is going to be a really unbelievable conversation. So make sure too that you share this, because what Hilary's going to share today is, we're bringing literally the woo into the science, but more importantly, into action. I love Think and Grow Rich. It's one of my favorite books, Hilary. However, it's Think and Grow and Do Rich, right? Like you got to think and do to be rich, right? And I think that sometimes gets missed in our, spiritual law of attraction world. And then our business world, we go from this logic to this heart. It's like, and everyone has such a hard time to bring them together. It's like, actually, they are perfectly aligned as long as we are perfectly aligned and balanced. And we know what it takes to not only believe, to set those unbelievable goals, and then yet take action on them. So the universe goes, hey, we're meeting in the middle here, right? And so I know that's what you really bring together. So know, everyone, this is going to be a really powerful call today, because we aligned this date, exact right timing, because this is time for us to start going, okay. And if you haven't already, to continue, if you have already, where's my next move? What's my next step to take? Right. And that's why Hilary's going to come and share this today. So Hilary, let's get into it. I know she's going to be pulling me right through the process. She already said, she's like, you better get ready. You're not just sitting here and watching me and listening. It's time to get into it. Right.
Well, I'm a coach through and through. There's no way I'm letting you off the hook. But here's what I want to say. We are in the end of the year, but whether you're watching this at the beginning or at the beginning of a different quarter, you could always be doing this. And where I really lead people with the relaunch method is into something that is trademarked. It's called the 3HQ. And the HQ is the headquarters of you, right? You are the CEO of you. But what does that really mean? What it means is the 3 H's in 3HQ is head, heart, highest self, highest self. And these are all like, think of it like an infinity. It's an ever loop. We are not Buddha. We are not Gandhi, Mother Teresa. So to stay at our highest self, that best version of us, where we are energetically charged, where we are bringing in all this incredible manifestation into our life, is a challenge for many of us. And I'm raising my hand because relaunches are happening, whether they're happening on a personal level, whether they're happening professional, or we all know they are happening globally. So this is the first time in history that we're all being bombarded with all these different types of relaunches. And it absolutely causes us to have an energy leak. And when you have an energy leak, it means that in the head, your thoughts could be going more negative. It happens when your heart has emotional blocks and you're like, the limiting beliefs come out, empowering beliefs, limiting beliefs. In crisis, in relaunches, we have a tendency, because we have 6,250 thoughts a day. There has been great scientific innovation that it is not 60 to 80,000 like we've all heard. It's not. It's 6,250 approximately. That's still a ton. But 85% of our thoughts are hardwired for negativity. So it makes sense when things start to happen to us, we fall into the negative process and we can't get out of our own way. So I'm just giving you all like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Now, how do we, Hilary, that's great. I do that. But how do I get out of it? 3HQ is a much bigger process. And I teach it in my 6-month course on business and scaling from 6 to 7 to 8 figures. But I want to give you a very simple way to be able to actually leverage the 3HQ on a daily basis, multiple times a day. All right. And this is where, Rhonda, can I pull you back up on screen? Okay. So
all right, I'm coming in, sister. I'm ready.
Okay. So we've all heard Einstein say, you can't solve a problem at the conscious level it was created. Okay.
That's right.
All right. When I first heard that, I was like, I have no idea what that means. Like, what is that? Can somebody please dummy it down and simplify it for me? I'm all about simplifying everything. Well, as I got more into 3HQ and as I dove more into neuroscience, ancient wisdom, obviously we got processes and business procedures, and yes, love all of those, but you can't just be siloed in one. And so how do we, when Einstein said that, how do we actually elevate ourselves so that We're not at a low vibrational level, which is where problems are, challenges are, negative emotions are, because everything has an energetic vibration. And if you're trying right now to create your year-end business plan, your next year 2024 revenue plan, your project plan, your marketing plan, and you're trying to do it at a low vibrational energy, that's what you're going to bring in. So what I do is I make sure, and this you can do no matter if you're coming on a show like this, if you're going to be meeting with someone, if you're going onto a Zoom, if you're about to create a post, you're about to go live, you're about to, meet up with somebody that you just can't, you don't even like, or you don't like what you're about to do. You can do this simple, easy process that I call tune in. And what tune in does is it is energy on demand. So there are times where you're like, my God, I'm having relaunches left and right. I can't get out of the relaunch way. And I mean, am I ever going to see a successful Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? It feels like a roller coaster of revenue. So here's what we can start to do. And this, I love it because you know how there's all these programs out there that are like, get certified, do this, do that. I'm going to certify you right here, right now in the tune in method. You're going to be able to do it. I want you to do it numerous times a day. Okay, Rhonda, I am going to put you through the 4-step tune in process. The first step is in the head. Remember 3HQ, head, heart, highest self. The head. What is your biggest challenge that you have going on right now in your business?
Oh, let's see.
Everyone else out there listening, think about yours. Think about what is this challenge coming into this new year. What is it?
I would say our new focus is moving into more higher level referrals, less clients, more touch.
Okay. Okay. So what we're doing is you're basically changing the clientele. You're looking at less could be more, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now once you've identified that challenge, all right, that's a challenge, a head-based challenge, low vibrational energy. You haven't really nailed it, solved it yet. If you had, you wouldn't have said it's your challenge. See what I'm saying? So now we're going to go into step 2. Step 2 is based on a whole lot of scientific evidence. It's neuroscience based, and it's one of my favorite. And I teach a lot with music. And when I think about this challenge, I want you to now, we're going into highest self, that high level of energy. I got to pop you up to a higher level of energy so that you can actually start to really think about this challenge from that level, from a higher level, so that you can then have better answers, have better actions. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you, what is a song that when you hear it, it just lights you up? You can't be in a low energy state when you're hearing it. What's that song?
Unstoppable.
I knew you were going to say it. I should have just said it. Okay, so unstoppable. Now, here is the neuroscience part about it. And music absolutely understands changes your state, but you have to listen to it for at least 20 seconds. Now, we're on a show right now. If we put it on,
I can turn it on.
Well, no, the show would be shut down because it's music and you can only do a certain, a certain.
Right.
So here's the best part. If you were alone, you could turn it on. If you are not alone, you can play it in your head and it does the same thing, whether you hear it out in this world or hear it in here. But we have to take it from the head to our toes. Play the song in your head right now for 20 seconds. Okay. That is the magic state number. So I want you to hear Unstoppable. I want you to move your body, Rhonda. Move your body all the way down to your toes. Okay. All right. You got it. You got it. Keep moving. Keep moving. Right? Yeah. You can start to feel it. All right. Okay. So now we're into that 20 seconds. We're like listening to it. We have it in our head. You're either playing it, you're listening to it, you're up, you're dancing to it, changing your state. Now we go into, you can turn it off. Now we go into step 3 and we're going to tune back in because what we just did is change the channel. Step 2, when we're highest self, you are literally with that music changing the channel to everything in your body. It is the greatest thing. So now step 3 is going to the heart. And this is where we emotionally charge what you really are going for, which is you have endless high value, high ticket. You've got these clients that just resonate with your message. And you are on the stage right now. You are lit up. And the best part is, I'm going to say again, neuroscience, a lot of things here coming at you, but what are you wearing? What color is present for you? What is that color that you see right now? Bright red. Okay, I want you to electrify the red. I want you to intensify it. I can tell you're already moving. You're already thinking about Unstoppable. You are on that stage. You are the star of this movie. You have an emotion behind it. Are you getting chills right now? Are you getting chills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So here's what we're going to do. We are going to absolutely connect that image, and every great movie has an image. They have a billboard in Times Square, which I know you love to put people on. You did me. So, hey, you now, my dear, are going up there in your red dress, and you are going to open and close your eyes, taking an internal picture. And you're going to do it 3 times when I say the word click. Open and close, open and close. Ready? Click. Click, click. What you're doing is absolutely capturing those images. Do you have one of those 3? Which one of the 3 do you think you look the best and it absolutely captures? Is it 1, 2, or 3?
3.
Okay. 3 is going to be your image that you keep going back to. That's you're charging it. It's been charged. You got the color, you've got the trigger, you've got the anchor, you've got everything. Now we're going to go into step 4. And this is back to the head, because everything is that ever loop, infinity. And in step 4, we're going to create a micro action. You're going to go back to Unstoppable. You're going to see that video. You're going to move your body again. And now you're going to say, what is a micro action that you can do right now? Success likes speed. We're not going to wait until tomorrow. We're going to do it today. What could you do that would take barely any time, but it would show you that there was momentum towards high ticket value, everything that you're trying to go for in that image of you? What would that be? What would a micro action be?
Well, asking our current clients that love our work for referrals.
Okay, fabulous. So how are you going to do that right now before you end on to the next call, on to your next appointment? Before everyone out there who's, like I am in the dark right now, we're going to be going to bed soon. What could you do? Because, could it be reaching out to 1 or 2, or what could you specifically do?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing, is literally writing a list of who are the clients that I absolutely adore working with, like who are the ones I love, right? The ones that we serve, that just love our work, that every time we talk, it's like, how can I do more for you, right? And reconnecting with them, and then asking, if you love our work, our honor would be for you to share it with someone else.
Brilliant. So here's what I want you to do. It's that list. And then circle 3 of them and just send a text, send a, you're big on WhatsApp, do whatever, but make it happen. Now, what if I told you that this is a habit of peak performance? I literally have taught this to celebrities. I've taught it to peak performance athletes, Ironmen, you name it. Okay. I want you to think about this. And as you create more of these tune in, you can do it as you get, better and better. It's literally a less than 2-minute process. You can do it before every single meeting. But here's what I want you to do. Imagine what would happen if you did the tune in process 3 times a day around this specific challenge. And put the intention around that step 3, where you're in the red dress and you're going for it and you're doing 1 micro action. Imagine where you would be after 5 days, 15 micro actions. This is what I'm talking about when people come and they're like, I'm stuck, I'm overwhelmed, or they're saying, I can't get out of my way. I don't know. Yes, going through this process, you do know. And there's something that I want to say also is that given this is the end of the year, there are so many people doing, the vision boards and dream boards and all this. I teach something very different, and it's called the Believe It board. And take it through 3HQ. We take it through, how do you plan for success in 2024, right? Head, how are we going to do that? But then we supercharge it with the heart, the emotions, tuning in constantly. And then we go to the highest self and energetically then put it towards not just what you're seeing here, but what you're going to see in the external. And when you start to put these together, this is how I was able, as you said, to manifest the Wake Up with Marcy and Hilary show. I did exactly what I'm talking about. This is how I manifested, after a very heartbreaking divorce, my absolute soulmate husband, who's been in my life now 10 years, married 8. This is how my kids have been able to say, Mom, I want to meet every single person in the Twilight movie, and I want to go to the premiere. And I'm like, that's the hottest ticket in town. And they were able within 30 days to manifest that. My daughter manifested herself getting into USC. I mean, yes, she's a smart girl, but the grades were not there, but she did other things, all part of the Believe It board. So as the year ends, one thing I do want to say, and I'm going to give a QR code at the end and a text, I have a workshop that I'm going to be teaching around this whole concept of how do you put revenue plans together that absolutely go to your products, that go to your marketing, that all tie together. And then how do you take it to that next level? So you're 3HQing. You're not just like, boring, here I am, I'm writing down, this is my plan. I'm not sure I really believe the plan, but I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be a good leader. This is how you do it.
I love it, babe. Did we leave you? There you go. I thought I lost you. I'm like, oh, no,
don't do that. Don't say that.
No, I love it. So I have to be honest. I have gone through this with you before, because I was also, we did the Marcy show together, and I went through this. And Hilary, since the day, that's why I was so excited about today, because since the day I learned this from you, I've been using it. Now, what I realized is that I also had probably been using this for a very long time, right? But you put it into such simple and easy ways for all of us to go, wait a minute. I know exactly how to do it. I know exactly what I need to, to manifest. And it just gives us processes. And I tell you, that has been since you and I met on the show. I was like, okay, so my song is always unstoppable. It changed from that day, because that's our brand, right? It's what we feel. It's what makes me like get pumped up. I do it all the time. I literally am like, I get in my vibe, I turn my Siri on, I start my jam, and then I do that focus. And why I said the red dress is because I know this vision. And in fact, we, after this is over, I'm going to show the video. I have a video of me. I was in this red dress when we were in Times Square, and we were just rocking it. Our first big billboards, the book launch. It was like, yes. So I used that vision. And then now today I took it even farther, because I'm preparing to go to Nepal for a big event, and I'm speaking in Antarctica. Like, it's been my dream. Our family has been going, we're manifesting Antarctica. And sure enough, I was offered to be invited to be a speaker, to be a host of this unbelievable event in Antarctica in March. And I was like, you're wearing your red dress. You're going to be on these lights.
Absolutely. Are you?
Right?
Yes. And one question I often get is, so this is around your clients, around really streamlining, simplifying your offer, right? I talk about the products you're going to be creating to get your revenue goals. But you may have something that, it could be like, hey, visibility. You might have a different song for that, right? So when I go on shows like this, I have, mine is This Girl Is on Fire, right? And I literally am like, yes, I want to ignite people out there. I want to elevate them. But then there's the time when I'm doing my, my financial planning, or I'm going through, monthly and doing the working on the business and the financial plan, that I have a different song. So I want you to think you could have like 5 songs that are just And it helps just kind of speed through this incredible habit. And I even was talking to a gal today and she said, Hilary, when you first taught this to me, I thought, but she had a meeting with one of her C-suite execs, and they came in and she was just in like a real crappy mood. And she tuned in without him knowing it. And she said she went from like low level to high level. And she realized that she had the control that she never really thought she had before, right? You have it, but we forget about it. And by the way, clarity, when you have this such clarity on either your challenge or the intention that you want to have happen, like my intention right now is hopefully someone's going to be like, dang, this is so good. This is what I needed to hear right now. This is where this whole tune in process, it doesn't have to always be a challenge, can be both good and bad, right? There's challenges that are like, oh God, this is the worst thing. And there's challenges like, yes, I'm going to challenge myself to do this week.
Right.
It eventually turns for you. And it's not a forced habit anymore. It's like when you start to go to the gym and you're going, and finally after about, 7 or 8 times, you're like, God, I feel really good. I want to keep doing this. Like it feels really good. This is that. When you start to do it, and I can literally say I do it 15 to 20 times a day. I do it before every single meeting that I'm in. I have it. It's just a 2-minute process. I can literally as I'm getting a glass of water or whatever, I just do it. And it sets the stage for what I need. And by the way, there were many times that my mom, as you know, died of cancer, and it was a 14-month battle. And there were many times that I had to show up. I didn't have the ability to just want to lie down on the couch and just, crawl up in a ball. I had to show up, whether it was 30 minutes or 45. I'd tune in and I'd be like, all right, I'm present. I'm here. I've elevated my energy. This is what I want to put out. And it changed my life, and it's changing people who are using it. They're just like, oh my gosh. And you start to use it more and more. And you're just like, oh, I've never, people are like goal setting. This is what you need to be doing around the goal setting. That's how you end up with, as I said, the believe it board, the believe it business. That's what we're going for.
Well, it's interesting because I think a lot of people, they get like, you feel it like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I get excited and I know how to get it done. But what you said is really important, is utilizing it in times when you might feel a bit fear, or slightly, let's say, walking into a big boardroom, maybe a little inferior or uncertain. And I'll give you a really good example. I've just been invited to be on the board in our company, to be the head PR agency for probably one of the largest projects that's going to be taking place, which I'm very excited about. They've got, they're being valuated at $500 million. Okay. And he's like, Rhonda, I want you to be on our board for PR. I want you to be the head of all of our PR decisions. And I'll be honest, I'm like, yeah, I was like,
this is huge. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I mean, it changes a lot, right? When you've got 40 people that we're doing PR for, to build all the founders of this company for over the next year and a half. And at first I was like, oh, right? Because you're like, holy shit. And then I'm like, no, you earn this. This is what you've been asking for. You want clients that know, respect, love you. They've got the financial resources. They're totally open. They're easy to work with. It's like, woo, bring it on. So you reminded me today, that even though it's not just the challenges where you're like, I'm trying to get this done, it's going to be exciting if I do it, but more like, oh, I'm slightly nervous. I might have to talk to this client that may not be as happy with me, or may not be easy to deal with. Bring your energy and elevate it, right? And this is where it's why I love where you call it tuning in, because you're not just tuning into yourself, but you're fine tuning. You're fine tuning not only your nervous system, but your belief system. So I love this. So the day that I met you, Hilary, I'm just like, yes, like, because it's the vibe, right? And we know our vibe attracts. We get what we give out too. We gotta remember that.
Something to be said also. People often go for like-minded. I want a like-minded group. I want like-minded people around me. I want everyone to just say, you know what? Let's blast that myth right now. That is not what you want. Like energy. That's what will ignite you. That's like,
Yes.
and Rhonda, when you and I came together, it was sparks were flying. We're like,
Totally.
and we could do that. I was like, yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
that's when you start to elevate, and you think of tuning forks, right? And when one fork and you tap them together, they actually will vibrate at the same level. Or if you have two different ways to do this, you have one that's starting to vibrate, the other, even independently of hitting it, will start to vibrate at the same level. That's what happens. You talk law of attraction. I just have to say this. So law of resonance is above law of attraction. It actually nests under attraction, nests under resonance. So when you start to resonate at a higher level of energy, as you just said, you can actually go into a meeting. And you know how you walk into a meeting and you feel the energy and you're like, either it's like, you're like, you want to turn off the lights and head back out, right? Just shut the door fast. You can tune in and you can actually shift the energy in the room by doing this process, by you elevating. And there's so many great studies that I won't go into right now. But again, this isn't the woo part of it. This is scientifically backed information that is coming out, and it took so long to get to where we were 2 years ago, and now we're just blowing through it, and everything is being opened up. That's why I say I want to 3HQ you, and then I want to 3HQ your business.
Yeah, there you go.
It is just, it's like, wow, you can't even imagine. You start talking about what is your North Star? Where do you want to go? What's your legacy? What's that revenue goal that when you hit it, you're making the most amount of impact in the world? Yeah. It's time. It's time to do it. Stop talking about it. Do it on an individual level. That's another thing. We narrow ourselves, where I really am seeing so many, and I've talked to you about the event we're going to have in September of next year. We're seeing so much opportunity with international leadership coming together at the highest level. You talk about energy in the room. It's off the chart when we start to put these people together.
Yeah. And, and this is the time when, and I see so often people say they're ready. Right. And this is why I cut out this New Year's resolution, right? Because what is that? That's just like, oh, the one thing that now I'm ready to do. It's like, no, let's build on it and allow that energy to build upon it. That's why all year I'm working towards what I want to build into the new year. So it's kind of like an explosion, right? But energetically, and that's why I love the statement, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And often we need to check ourselves and say, okay, who's my tribe right now? And is it the one that I want to be in? And it's not a bad thing, right? Sometimes it's just like, is the vibe I'm giving off actually what I'm looking to attract? And oftentimes, unless we're tuning in, we're actually looking for others to help us shift our own vibration. You ever notice that where all of a sudden they're like, things aren't working there because you're looking for external energy, external resonance to help change you. Now, certainly there is others that can come off on you if you're having a bad day, but if you are not tuning into your own vibration and frequency and resonance, then you're just going to get broken goodness and broken badness because it's not a true resonant vibration, right?
And you remain in that tuned state. You're tuning out. Remember that everybody has the ability for success, a lifestyle of success. But if you haven't even identified or gotten really clear on what that really truly means to you, then how do you expect it to happen? And it goes back to, if you don't do a revenue plan, if you don't do a product of what you're really focused plan, if you're not doing a marketing plan, how do you expect things to actually happen? You got to spend the time. That's leadership. That's people understand messaging and what you're trying to go for, that they can stand behind you. So at this point, I got to tell you, 3H has been, and Tune In has been, the biggest tool in my 23 years of doing this that has impacted for peak performance the most. It is the number one habit for peak performance that I teach, that I go through. And by the way, even with my one-on-one clients, the first day we meet, I start with a tune-in. I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. Every time.
Well, I always say if you do it yourself at least 3 times that you might have borrowed from someone else, you can use it as your own, right? So like use this.
Everybody, tune in. I'm giving it to you on a platter. Now there is one. So if everyone has their phone, I want you to text.
I got you.
Text tune in to 55444. Text tune in to 55444. And that will get you all of the information on the Believe It board. It is next week. If you're listening to this after there's going to be something else I'm sure that we're going to be doing, but this is so critical for the time we're in right now. It's going to be a 2-hour workshop to get you first to create the plan, because a lot of times we can't do it on our own. We need somebody to be like, hey, come on, let's get this in, right? It's the accountability part, and helping you tune in throughout the whole process so that you can really get focused. And then the second part of it is actually creating the Believe It board for your own Believe It business.
Woo, I love it. Okay, so I just scanned the QR code, guys. If you're not in the USA and you can't text, scan it. It takes you right there. I'm already in. I'll show everyone. Whoops, there we go. I'm in. I'm registered. I'll be there. And this is the stuff, Hilary. I know you've got to roll because you've got another big event tonight, but I'm so excited for what's happening throughout this next year. I know you're going to be in not only the Women Gone Wild book, you're having your own event in April. Share that with everyone as well, because there's so many things that I want to show and share what they can be part of, right? Okay. Join this event, tune in, take what you like, leave the rest. This is like a smorgasbord and a buffet of where are you at now? What do you need? And truly, the tune-in process is kind of the first start as far as I'm concerned, no matter what you're doing, right? Start looking into what is the next stages, because the more we can look at and utilize not only those around us, our resources, the easier it is. And that's why I brought up not the how, it's the who. We get stuck in the how am I going to grow my business? How am I going to do this? How? And all of a sudden, especially, solopreneurs, coaches, consultants, because I work with them as well in our PR firm. I'm like, hold on, it isn't you. You're not the who or the what, or you're not the how or the what.
Okay. I mean, your Unstoppable agency has been a game changer for the Relaunch Co, for myself, Hilary DeCesare, and my own brand. There is no doubt that I am seeing the success I'm seeing because of what the opportunities that you put in front of me, and the nudge, the kick, the do it now, do not wait. I mean, that's, I think, one of, what you're saying about, work with a few and get them. I am like raising my hand and saying, I am so grateful of, a lot of times we can coach others, but we need someone to really help coach us and to show us our own way, because we can't get out of our own way. And you have been able to do that. And I mean, like you said, with the co-host with, the Marcy, Wake Up with Marcy, and now it's Wake Up with Marcy and Hilary show. I'm ever grateful. I'm so excited to be one of your authors in the Wild Intuition. And I mean, I can't even name all the things you've done for me. And you put me up in Times Square on a billboard. And it's been a really great, crazy, awesome ride. And anybody out there listening right now, I would literally say that, again, I wouldn't be going into 2024 with all of the success from 2023 that literally is going to catapult us. Like the rocket is like, boom, it's blasting off right now.
Well, it's when we say yes, right? I mean, that's the thing. When we find who's that are forcing you, or not forcing you, but pushing you into places that say, okay, this is what we should do. And then helping you get there. That's the beauty. That's everything I define as successful. Someone that says yes, they have a who that says, okay, let's get that done, right? Because all we have to do, especially as visionaries and thought leaders, we have to go, okay, this is what I want. How many who's do I need to help me get there? And people ask me, how did you have this magazine? Like the magazine, 4th issue's in, the magazine's done. You were in issue number 3.
That too. That was another one.
But people go, how in the heck? I'm like, well, I have amazing who's. I just say, guys, let's do a magazine. Let's put it together. And all of a sudden they go and pull it together, right? So, but this is just, it's just a reiteration, a reminder. Like, you've got everything you need. Sometimes you just need to retune in and find the who's to help it happen, or to help that vision come out, and that's what's so exciting. So I'm going to put this one more time on here, Hilary. Ladies and gents, make sure that you're texting 55444, 55444, good fours in alignment, and or QR code. I'll post this also in all of the socials that we are streaming on now live. The replay will be sent out as well. And so Hilary, before we go, is there any one last things? I know you have a big event. She gave us her time. She's like, let's do this.
So funny. I do, but I do want to say that we have to stop thinking so narrow. And as you and I have discussed so many times, you stay in your lane of what I call your G zone, that great zone, growth zone, gratitude zone. But then you go and find somebody who has their G zone in what you need. And so don't try to do it on your own, because that will take you down a path to get you away from your own G zone. So Rhonda, thank you for continuing to be in your G zone. I can be in mine up and do what I am meant to do and not be worried about all of the other things. It's such, and I suggest doing that in all of the different areas, because we can't try to do it all on our own. And you mentioned, events. Probably the biggest event that I'm most excited about in September 2024, September 12th to the 15th, we are going to be getting together global women in LA. It is going to be I know, Rhonda, you're going to be at the top of the top, getting together to network, to create this energetic vibe. These are the luminaries that are making all of the impact. You're going to want to be a woman in the room, because we've got tons of publicity. Rhonda, you're going to help with all of that. I mean, you guys, this is going to be an amazing event, and we'll be soon bringing it out to you, and you can find more about it at the Relaunch Co on Instagram, the Relaunch Co.
Let's do it. Stay tuned in. The more you're aligned with those, the more information you'll find out. Remember, too, we have our wildtribe.live. You can just get inside there. That's where we drop. Make sure all the things stay in one place. You're reminded every single week about our masterminds. But more importantly, you're going to not only get this recording, but you'll find out all the events that are unfolding. We already have like 20 events on the docket that are happening this next year. But that's what we do, is we bring everyone together. We allow you to not only connect, but find your tribe, align with your vibe, and let's make this happen. So Hilary, thank you so much for being here for this tune-in process. I'm so excited. I was writing all my notes down. I'm gonna fine-tune my tune-in process.
I love that. And definitely you have to come to the workshop on December 7th. It's going to be done. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yes. It's signed, sealed, delivered. All right, everyone, have a great one. We do have down here, we are accepting applications for the leadership book that comes out in 2025. We've been interviewing people, and we're super excited for the next of the Wild series is Intuition next June. All right, everyone, have a great one. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.